Hello, my dears. A lot of people are surprised that I'm such an open-hearted girl, I would say. I'm mind open and also heart open. So it's really very easy to get in touch with me. Of course, if I like the persons, because if I feel some energy that I don't like, then I'm not talking that much, or maybe not watching in that direction or doing my stuff. But normally, if I start a conversation with somebody, then I'm more or less optimistic and funny, make jokes, open. I talk about a lot of things that people say, how can you talk about this stuff so easily? Yes, well, I wanted to make this video on how we can get to this point that we are that much open-hearted, because my principles are getting from ego into the heart, and this is more or less an inner work, but it can also work through physical work, like yoga, for example. Yoga for opening the heart positions where you are with an open chest, and this also influences your heart. What I also like to do is coming into the woods, because for me nature is the best thing that we can do to open our hearts. What we can also do is start the day with meditation, being grateful for what we have, but not just for what we have, but also for what we desire and didn't achieve yet. We can still be grateful for it. Another way of opening the heart is by doing things that are pleasant and good for others. Donate a good word. If somebody has some situation and they complain, you don't get into the complainment and also complain with them, but you are the person that can talk about the positive part of that situation and motivate the people and not adding to their suffering. So this is another good way, and also inspiring for both persons, because maybe the one gets inspired and the other one that gives receives something inside of her that it feels so good. It is such a satisfaction that is not comparable to nothing else. When you do something good for others, you cannot compare that feeling with something else. And this, of course, opens the heart. What opens my heart is laughing. I love to laugh, and I find something to laugh in almost every sentence. So maybe some people consider me a little bit of a crazy girl, but I really enjoy laughing and having a good time and enjoying life. If we want to get a little bit more deeper into opening the heart, especially after broken heart, that is more difficult, because normally we used to close our heart after disappointment, after bad luck in a relationship, all kinds of relationships, not just the romantic ones. And then we project this on everybody and say, look, the people are like this, I don't want to feel this anymore, so I close my heart and I'm going with this kind of heart through life, and then I and then I won't suffer. Of course you won't suffer, but you will also not enjoy life. This is the consequence, the bad consequence of it. I wouldn't recommend this, but I know it's very, very difficult to not do it. How we can get to do it is by focusing on the right things, on the good perspective. For example, if you suffered, you have and need to focus on the lesson. If you focus on the lesson, then you get out of this victimhood and then understand more about the situation. Of course, we won't get it from the beginning, but we can ask the universe or God or the force in which we believe in, and then after a while we will get some kind of answer. We will get it, but first we need to put the question. And if you look in that direction, then solutions will come from that place. Because if we are remaining in our victimhood, then nothing good can ever happen to us. We will still attract the same pattern, and we miss the chance to get in touch with our soul, so to learn the lesson. Me, myself, I've been through some experiences that broke my heart, but I know for my example, I decided it doesn't matter what hurt me. No person in this world and no situation will close my heart. I'm against it, and I will forever do anything that I can to keep my heart open. So this is one good thing that we can do. Decide on it. Decide to remain like this. What we also shouldn't do is project on others what our experiences were. For example, if we had 2 or 3 experiences more or less the same, then we think that people are like this. And we don't notice the pattern that they have in common, that being us. Something is wrong with us if we attract something that makes us suffer. So I don't mean that we are wrong, but I mean we function after a program or believe in something. We have limiting beliefs that don't help us anymore. And then we think that this is reality, but it is just our reality. It's not the reality of everybody else. And then we project our experiences on the persons that will come later, and then our soul cannot be reached anymore, our heart, because we put some layers above to maintain it safe, and then we do not get to have pleasant experiences again. So what can we do against it? We work on our intuition. We work on the patterns that we recognized. Maybe we need some distance from people. We need to do the things that we feel that we need to do. Our interest should decide our direction. Nobody else can decide for us. So nobody else can know us that good as we can get to know ourselves. That's why this path is to be done by us. And after 10 years of doing inner work, I feel that this is the best thing we can do for ourselves. For example, today I'm celebrating Valentine's Day in the woods with myself. I bought myself some flowers, and I also wanted to make a gift for my dad and his wife, a dinner at a restaurant. And I planned this for tomorrow because today there wasn't tables anymore. I got too late to that restaurant, and I did it for tomorrow. And I noticed how people react when you are doing something good for others. So it also feels good for others to see it, to be part of the experience. They get a little bit of hope that good people are still existing. And she was like, "This is so nice of you. I see once in a while parents giving children gifts like this, but I almost never see the kids doing presents like this for parents." And I was like, okay. With my videos of conscious parenting, if you describe a situation from the heart place, and if you are focused there on the communication between the kids, on the good side of the situation, on how they are evolving and having a good feeling about it, then you can also open the hearts of the other persons, because our hearts resonate with the same good experience, values, love, freedom. So if you use these values in describing a situation or communicating with somebody, then the heart of the other person will also be opened. Because it's like we work like this. We get into the emotional state and we feel good about it because we want good for us. We want a better world. We want to evolve, to feel good and not to suffer, although we unconsciously decide for the suffering. So keep in mind, you can open your heart by doing yoga, by also doing some sport that you like. It is important to do not only sports, but also the things that you like to do. This is how you open your heart most, because then you feel really delightful. You feel good and you want to repeat this feeling. Is something that I experience also in dancing. You are on the dance scene, you get in touch with the music, with the partner, and if you have a real good flow, then you feel like you are floating on something. It's a nice feeling that we have, that we should do so often we can. And then we can meditate, we can start our day meditating or end it like this. We can do journaling. This is also helpful. We get to focus on the positive part of situations and relationships. That doesn't mean that we don't see the danger or the bad things happening. It just means that we communicate the bad ones and we try to find a solution for it. And if it doesn't work by the things being said honestly, then you retire. You don't try to fix, you don't try to change, you don't try to do anything else. You just try to see if you can change this in a way that's pleasant for you also, not for the other person. And if it cannot be done, then that is not the person for you to stay in touch with. I think we make a lot of mistakes because of our past and of our issues from childhood. We try to gain love. We try to impress somebody to love us, or we try to change somebody to be as we imagine him or her to be. And these are wrong ways to go through life, because like this, you will just find suffering. So if we want to keep our heart open, it doesn't matter if we get to suffer. We trust people from the beginning. We trust also our intuition, because we should focus on seeing the red flags on persons. I don't think that a person can hurt us without giving us before some signals where our intuition would say, wait a minute, this is a little bit weird. Wait a minute, what he or she says doesn't match with what she or he does. So after I reviewed my past, I noticed that I was getting over stuff that were important for me that weren't also possible to change, to fix. And it doesn't need to work like this. It won't work like this. We have to see if we have a match with the other person. And if we're not, it's not a problem. If they don't like us, or if we don't keep the relationship, it doesn't matter. We open also our heart by being honest. Being really honest in every situation is something that costs us very much. It's very difficult to do. And when people reach this state of being honest with everything that happens, for example, something weird happens, you talk about it, you see, what was that? This is my way of seeing it. You want to understand the other person. You should talk about situations and not choosing not to talk about it, because then energies get a little bit weird. And on time, we get lost in this. We get more and more frustrated, consciously or not consciously, and then we do weird stuff that we normally wouldn't do without this frustration in the background. So for me, my best advice is be honest. Be honest to you first, because it's very important to be honest to ourselves. Just then we can do something about things that we notice. Before, we cannot do anything. And be also honest with the other person. But there is a difference. You don't have to be mean by being honest. You can be honest without being mean. And this is the way I recommend it to choose your words, to talk from your perspective, and not to complain or to find the other person guilty for committing something that you don't like. Just communicating your point of view and see what can be done. So this is another good way of opening the heart, by being honest, by being true to yourself. And then we don't project our suffering, our past suffering on new people, new experiences. We give everybody and every situation a chance. If we feel like we want to do it, then we first give a chance and afterwards we adapt. This is the right way. What I won't recommend is to not trust from the beginning that something can be like it appears to be, or that something can evolve in something good, and don't go fully into the situation. Why? Because exactly this part of you that don't trust the person or don't trust the situation will eventually get hurt. So focus on developing your intuition to trust more what people give you on information, with or without words, from the energy. We can all learn to read energy, and then we are on the safe side. Because from the first moment then we get a certain feeling, and then we know, okay, we cannot continue, or we talk about it. It depends on how you feel. Because, for example, for me it's like this. If I'm in a group of people, if I feel certain energy that where I cannot breathe or something, then I just want to get out of there. I don't necessarily want to get to know people more to find out about why I'm feeling like this. I just trust it and then I'm out. So this is a very easy way. But also when I trust, I can also get hurt very easily, because I trust from the beginning the person. And if my gut is not giving me some signs that I shouldn't, then I trust it as long as I don't have any feelings. But from my experiences that I had, I was trusting the people from the beginning, and afterwards I adapted. This is still the way that I recommend, although I got hurt many times. But it was because of my unsolved issues that I didn't realize until later on in this life. So it was because of me, not because of the other person, because the others can be how they are. They are like this or like this or like this. They can be how they want to be. We are not responsible for how other people are, but we are responsible if we accept them in our lives. And if we accept them, in which role? So we are responsible of that. So from my experience, although I always trusted from the beginning and then adapted, sometimes soon enough, sometimes too late, but it was still my unsolved problem that I had. It wasn't really the other person. Although they tell you lies, they try to convince you of things, because they neither are recognizing the pattern after they leave, and maybe they also trust themselves. But the thing is, everything ends in actions. If the actions don't match the words, then you cannot trust anything. This is my last lesson that I have. And also I notice now more the energy. So if I feel something weird, I try to understand it. What is it? And if I don't like it, or it's something important for me, at the beginning I discuss it. I want to see how the other person reacts, how they feel about it. And if we don't understand each other, then I don't see the point in continuing. I would say that till now, the best thing that I can do is being creative, having courage to change my life, to change relationships, to change places where I live, and also making really good friends, so authentic friends, where we can talk about everything and we inspire each other to grow. This is something that I appreciate the most in having relationships. I need to feel that we are growing together somehow. We help each other doing that. And if this doesn't happen, then I cannot be in that relationship. So, my dears, now I'm going back and we get in touch later. Tell me, please, what's your opinion about opening the heart? What kind of experiences did you have till now? And what kind of topic do you want me to talk about in the future to help you guys pass through life situations easier, focusing on the right things and living more freely, like free willy, living with joy, with energy, without being dead on the inside. So, see ya. Bye bye.